Zach, what are you doing here?
You know what? I want to look for a place to move into here in a couple months. So I've been doing that. Looked around Ancaster, I think was one of them. Stony Creek and maybe Burlington, which is a little bit closer to Toronto, right? Been doing that. Met the rest of the coaching staff, so that was nice. And this morning I was able to go on the field with a couple of the guys, Bakari, Fantus, Jay, and Tasker, and some other guys, and get some work in, so that was nice.
What's your mentality this offseason? When you're switching teams or switching allegiances?
Just the same as it always is. You know, I'm just, working every day, on my craft and getting in the weight room and doing that and running and making sure I'm staying in shape and I'm ready to go come June.
How's the playbook looking? Have you been able to get a copy and start going through it?
Just a little bits and pieces of it. I'm anxious to get in there. I think at the end of April we have an OTA. I'm anxious to get in there with Coach Condell and Coach Austin and get it started. But yeah, I'm just kind of trying to memorize some verbiage and stuff that they've sent me.
How intense was today's workout? It was a first time meeting some of these guys.
We've played against them and probably shook some of their hands on the field and stuff, but it was definitely nice to get in there with them, and just to get a feel for the guys and for them to get a feel for me.
What would have been your first impression from the physical standpoint? Obviously, we know a great bunch of guys, and I know they were all very anxious to meet you.
It looks like everybody's had a good off season. I know we're still 2 months out, but I thought the routes were sharp, and everybody was in pretty good condition, so that's exciting, knowing that we still have about 60 days till camp.
What's your off-season conditioning been like?
Good. It's went very very well. Working out of the high school back home in Steubenville, Ohio, running on the field, and my little brother's a quarterback too, so just been doing some spot work with him when it comes to throwing, and it's been really cold too. So those days it's been around 30 and 40 degrees. We've tried to get outside and do that.
I'm guessing one of the tougher things about this off-season is, like you said, learning the new playbook and the verbiage and things like that. Has it been one of the tougher things to wrap your mind around in your career?
It's like anywhere. It's like anywhere you go, anywhere new that you go, because the verbiage is so different. It'd be nice if football, everybody said the exact same thing and make it really easy for people. But I know it's a complex offense. We have to have smart receivers and smart quarterbacks as well. So, it's my job to come in here and be prepared when the time comes for Coach Condell and Coach Austin to really teach me what's going on.
This wasn't your first time meeting Coach Condell, was it?
No. I was able to meet him last time I met you guys, actually.
Does your mentality change, like this year coming in as the number one guy, the leader of this team? Does it change how you think about things, approach things?
I think there's definitely a sense of urgency and responsibility. You don't want to show up somewhere and there's cameras and you'd be a letdown. So there's definitely a sense of urgency there to make sure I'm getting the right amount of work in every day and the right amount of reps when it comes to throwing or just my footwork and knowing the playbook as well.
Have you been working on your public relations skills as well? You're going to face a lot more microphones this year.
I faced a lot in college, but yeah, I got to clean it up a little bit. I'm stuttering, and I know I say a lot too, so that's something I have to work on.
Is there a different level of pressure being the number one guy, and how do you plan to handle that?
I guess the obvious answer is yes. There will be more pressure, but I think the way that you deal with pressure is being prepared, and that's my job. That's on me, and I'm going to be prepared. So.
I know you've met some of the guys, but you've probably glanced at the roster, whether it's online or whatever. What do you think of this team? What's the first impression that comes to mind?
Well, obviously we went to the Grey Cup last year, so there's some great players on this team, and I know in free agency we picked up some great players as well. And I think everyone's just excited to get to camp and to meet the new guys and guys to see each other again and finally get to work. It's a long off season.
Go ahead, Natalie.
Just hearing the commissioner announcing the Grey Cup being next year in Winnipeg, and spoke briefly about Not necessarily about the collective bargaining process.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, we were talking about that too. Nobody's really looking forward to the weather aspect of it, but as a player, knowing that there's some unknowns with regards to the collective bargaining agreement, how do you feel about that going into this season?
You know, I really haven't given it much thought, to be honest with you. I'm not a representative from the team, so letting those guys handle it. You know, obviously I'm behind the players, you know, 100%, and you know, whatever happens. We just all have to stay ready for whenever the time comes for us to show up.
Have you been by the stadium, the new stadium, at all?
I haven't since I've been in town, but I've heard it looks good, and I should go see that before I go home.
When are you heading back?
Thursday, tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been in town?
I came in on Monday. Yep.
When do you plan on moving here officially? Or when do you hope to, anyway?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you. It kind of just depends on what I can find and, you know, the amount of work we're able to get done when I'm here at the end of April for that OTA, and just kind of get a feel for it from there, and talking to the guys to see when I really need to be up here. So, you know, I'm kind of a homebody. I like being home around my family, especially being away for 6 months. But, you know, if they asked me to move here tomorrow, I would do that. So.
You can have mom's home cooking shipped up.
Right. Right. Ship her up here for a couple weeks.
Groovy.
Good.
Nice.
Thanks very